Hi, my name is Declan and I play puzzle games. And today, in this video, I'm playing Battleship Solitaire. I had to think for a moment. Forgot what game I was playing, even though I'm staring at it on the screen. Anyway, I shall play some games. Normally, as you see here, various sizes, and I shall do one of each size and show you how to do it. So here, very simple, the number of ships on each row, and here the number of ships on each column. It's regular battleships. There are, I don't know whether you call them cruisers or whatever, so two ships and three ships. So obviously the rows that have 0 on them have nothing, and this row here has a 1. This is an end piece, so there has to be 1 there. And as they cannot connect, they cannot touch, you can fill in ocean here. This has a 4, so we have to calculate which is which. So now we're looking for a 3. So this one obviously could be a 2 or a 3. It could be 2 2s to get a 4. And don't forget they also go downwards. So the 3 here can fit somewhere along here, somewhere along here, or somewhere along here. But you also need to have spaces for the 2 and the 1s as well. This column here, there are 2 blank spaces and there are 2 ships in this column, so obviously that's where those 2 go. This one here, there are 2 blank spaces but only 1 ship, so either that one or that one is a ship. As there are 4 here, that means that these here, then there must be 3 ships along here, which could be a 2, a space and a 1, or vice versa, a 1, a space and a 2. But then you see, oh, along here, if you click on the number, it fills in the column for you, so you have to click and drag. And so there's a 2 here, you can see here, 1 is filled in, 1 is not. So therefore 2 of these 3 spaces here are also one of these, so we are looking to put a 3 somewhere. So there are 2 places the 3 will fit, which is along here or along here. But here you can see there are 3 spaces and only 1. And again, as they cannot touch, you fill that one in. This has 1 space needed and 1 space free. This gives you 1 here, and this, oh, sorry, right clicking and left clicking by mistake. And then this gives us the 4 and the 1. So we have solved that level. Take a sip of drink. Now let's try a 7x7 grid. Same principle. We have here a square which needs to be connected either side, which gives us the 3 in this column. As they cannot touch, if you click the number on the row, it fills in for you. Again, as they cannot touch, we can fill in the surrounding C-squares. Here there are 0 ships on this column. There's only 1 ship on this column. And so we are looking for some place to put 4. There are obviously 2 places 4 will go, along here, this column, and somewhere along this column. And also a 3, there is only 1 place the 3 will fit, which is along here. I mean, it will fit in the 4 as well, of course, but oh, we only have 1 4 fit, so could fit a 3 there and a 4 there. So that doesn't rule them out. But this row here, as you may have been looking, has 2 empty spaces and 2 needed to fill in. And then that row that is filled and this column gets filled. So therefore we know there are 3 along here. So therefore there's only one place to put the 4, which then also covers this row, and then also covers that row. We're looking someplace to put a 2, so we need 2 goes here and 1 goes here, but as this row is already filled in and this row needs 3, and so this is the final one. Ta-da! Solved. Let's try an 8 by 8 now. Again, the easiest way is to start with the rows and columns that have 0, or in this case here, this row has 1 and there's already a ship. So as this is an end piece, we know there's 1 here, and as they cannot touch, the ships cannot touch, we can fill in around. So we're looking at a 5, there's 1 4 needed, 2 ships and 3 ones. So here on this column we have 4 blank spaces and we need 4. So an obvious solution. Again, now these single rows get filled in. 6, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available. We know these cannot be because they can't touch. There is 1 and 1 available. Here we have in this column a 2. So we know that this can only be either a 2. So basically we know this one is filled in because this would be the 4 here. And so a 3 and a 1, or a 2, a 1 and a 1. But if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we fill in this row, which also completes this column. And so we have some 2s. So this must be a 2 because there are only 2s left. And this must be a 1 because we need 4 in this column. And that leaves 2 to fill in. And ta-da! We have solved that puzzle. Let's try a 10 by 10 grid. And again, we start off with the 0s and the 1s. But this has to be connected each side. So we fill in this row as well. And these, because they cannot touch. And here, this is an end piece, and because they cannot touch. So we know down here, there are 5 squares, but 4 of them are filled in. So here we have a 5 length ship, a super battleship, whatever they're called. And we have, so we know the 5 goes along here somewhere. We don't know whether it's 5, 5, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just yet. So here, this column here, there are 5 squares needed, and there are 5 empty. So it fills out that, and again, as it cannot touch, which actually then leaves 3 to fill in that one. So we know there, this is a 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do know that this one doesn't because there are already 4, so it can only be either side. We have this column here, 1 ship there, and here we have 6, and we have 3 filled in and 3 empty. So that fills in there. We still have a 4, we know the 5 goes there, and we know the 4 does not fit on these rows, or these columns here. So the 4, so we can do from simple maths, if there are 4, regardless of whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top or 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom, you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that fills in there. Also, I forgot to fill in this row here, which actually then just leaves 4 filled in, and that gives us 2 along here. So this column here now, obviously, we just have, and again, they can't touch, and also the right number of squares, so therefore we do that there, and we do that there, and ta-da! We have solved a 10 by 10 grid. Let's try a 12 by 12 next. And just because I saw it, so we do the 0 rows here. There are no 0 columns, but there are several columns here which have 1 already. As these need to be connected, the ones that are already shown do need to be connected. And again, these ones need to be connected. And this column, or this row here, I should say, as a 1, and as is an end piece, needs to be connected. And then you fill in empty squares around, and similar here. So now we start, well, here we have a 2 column, and this column already has 4, which is what we need. This column has a 1. Oops, sorry, that was clicking, my finger got heavy on the mouse button. So we are looking someplace to put a 5, and as there's a space here for 5, and there are no other places, either rows or columns, where 5 will fit, we know that that fits there, and then one of these 3 will be one to complete the 6 along the row, and again one of these 3 here will complete this one along this row. So now here on this column, as you can see, there's only 1 space, and again they can't touch diagonally, so that fills that, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that does complete this row, and that leaves 2 spaces on this row, which then completes these 2 columns of 2, and this column only 4 spaces, 1 already filled in, 3 empties, so that was done that way. This column at this row here has been filled in now, and that gives us a thing here, because this row here, I was just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they are obviously, but this row here has a 2, and again, so we have 2 of these 3, 1 of these 3 to complete that 6, 1 of 3 here, and so 2 of these 3. So we need to put a 3 somewhere. The only place, actually, if you look at this column, there are 4 needed and 4 empty spaces, so obviously, again, can't touch, so when you have a long line, this then in this column, 2, this completes this row here is completed, this row here is completed, and finally we have a single square needed and a single square free, so ta-da! 12 by 12 grid has been completed. So let's try a 15 by 15 grid. Boom. Again, lots of 0 rows and then 1 0 column, sometimes many more. Also here, 1 we can do here. This is the end piece, so that is there, but there are 2 on this row, so bottom. And again, on the bottom row, it is completed. And here, because it cannot touch diagonally, this column here, or this row here, because then they need to fit. Again, this one needs one each side of it, and this completes this column. And this row, well, this line cannot be. And again, but this completes 2 on this row. And fill in the ones that cannot be. And again, because it's an end piece, there is not one there. And we see here this column, there is one. So now, on a 15 by 15 grid, we have more ships to find. So we have one ship length 5, and the obvious place to put it is either along here or along here on this row. And actually, I just noticed as I was speaking, it would actually fit in here. But also, I just noticed as I was saying, this column here is filled in. And so, this row here is also filled in. Now, what you will find is that the 5 ship might fit there, or there, or there, but wherever the 5 ship doesn't fit, the 4 ship will fit. So therefore, this is at least a 4, if not a 5. But it's definitely not a 6, so that one's not. And again, this row, this line of spaces, there are 4, at least 4. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, that eliminates those squares there. And here, on this row here, column here, because we fill in those, there you go. Also along here, it is at least a 4, if not 5 either way, because this column here is 3, and there are 2 empty spaces. And again, it cannot touch diagonally. Now, on this column here, we see the dot square or dot square. But because we filled in here, I just noticed on this row here, we have completed that, which then leaves just one, which actually proves that this is not a 5. It might be 3 and it might be 1, because you put those 3 existing, and that is 6. But on this row here, on this column, I should say, we already have a filled in. So there, that is that done. Now, so I take this is 4, and this is looking like it's the 5 here. But actually, this column and this column are completed. Which means that this is actually the 5. So either this one or this one, pardon me. And again, this cannot be the 5 because this is the 5 here. So this must also still be the 4. Which means that these two needed to complete the 6, and here on this row here, we need a 3. So that's there. Now, we have a 4, which goes along here, and then we have one single ship, which then goes in one of these spaces, depending on where. But this 4 here, column, is completed, which means that this completes this row here, but also completes this column here, which leaves us one square, and that is completed. I'm having a bit of fun at the moment, so I'm going to do another 15 by 15. The link to this website is in the description if you want to have a go yourself. I discovered this Battleship Solitaire game. I can't remember. It was from a newsletter. It was either Tom Scott or Hank Green recommended it or mentioned it on a newsletter. And I've been kind of addicted to it since. Now, let's fill in these. Again, it's the more observation than calculation, I think. Although I tend to find you can see patterns repeating when you play a lot of it. But that there is a 2 on that column. There's 1 on that bow. The rows and columns. There's a column here is filled in. These are need to connect to the existing one, and here, which completes this column here. So now we need some place to put 5. Obviously the 5 does not fit along there because only 4 can be in that row. Oh, and these cannot, because they cannot touch, obviously. Here, this row has a 4, and this row here has already got 1. So, and at this stage, the 5 must be along this row here because there is nowhere else that I can see, because they cannot be this 5 along here because there's already 1 here, so 4 or 3 and 1, etc. So if we know the 5 is here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then count from the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there you go. Also then, this column gets filled in, and this column gets filled in. So now, there are only 5 spaces available on this row. Ta-dam. So either here or here, depending on which goes. This column here has a 2, and this column here is, actually if you look, because if you put your mouse over the column that is not complete, it's just a normal, but if you put it over one that is complete, it becomes the clickable icon of the mouse cursor. Now, I suspect the 4 goes here because there are 2 4s. We know this is actually we know this is a 5 here, so we can just fill in that, and that also completes this column here. As I was saying, there are only 2 places you can actually put a 4. There are 2 4s that need to be added, so therefore it must be in there, and it must be on this column here to complete this 5, which also complete, this 2 is completed, and this 1 here is now completed. So we have again here a column with 2 and 2 empty spaces and 2 available single ships, which also completes these 2 rows here. And again we have a 2 available that completes that, and again one final. Ta-da! And as I'm in the mood, let's do another puzzle. This completes that. You have to have an end piece there, so that completes that. Again, cannot touch diagonally or so far. And again, if you see a single ship, you can just surround it with empty water. And again, here it's an end piece, so we know this one has to be. So we start with this, filling in the zeros. This is a 1 here. This one here, 0. We've got a 1 on this column already, and 1 on this row here. I'm mixing up rows and columns, haven't I? And again, cannot touch, and this fills up this one here as well. And again, which gives us 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 extra. So 3 of these 4, and actually 1 of these 2. So here we also need to fill in those, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 extra again. So now, I did not notice this column was completed. So we have to find a place to put 5. There is only one place, which is along here. No 5 fits anywhere else. And obviously it's an 8, then there are 4. So one of these is not going to be a ship. And the others are. And along here, I just notice this column. And this row has been completed. So we need to put a 4 in someplace. There are only 2 places to put a 4. The 4 fits there, and a 4 fits along this column here with this 4. And there are no horizontal stretches of 4. So therefore, those and this column is completed. And again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we have completed this row because we eliminated there. And also, this column here now is complete. And we know along here, this row. So in order to complete this column, we can do that because we've eliminated, and there is only 1 space left on this column, and that gives us 3 on this row, which is what's needed. So badam. Now both these have 3, but they are only 2. But here, this column, so 1 of these, but not both of them, and again 1 of these on this row, because we need a 3 to go across, but we could still have that one, which would complete that one. So I just noticed here, this column is completed, so we need some place to put a 2. The only place to put a 2 is vertically. You can't put a 2 there because there's already 1 there. Can't put 2 here or here because there are already 2 here. I mean, only 3. And again here. You can't put it here, so therefore there is only 1 vertical space where a 2 will fit, which then completes these 2 columns. This one here has only 1, which then completes that row here. And then this row has been completed, and once again we are left with 1 donut float, and it has to go there. So I'm going to take a quick break and probably make some more of these videos in the future. Do the YouTube stuff, like and subscribe if you want to see more. And again, link is in the description if you want to play Battleships Solitaire, Battleship Solitaire by yourself, for yourself, and by yourself. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.